Okay,
Yes,
so I'm
done.
gonna move to the fourth segment, okay? And in this, we're gonna talk a little bit about mental health. And see, mentally speaking, with such an intense course like MBBS, right? And you're handling
Mm-hmm.
lupus at the same time, and I'm sure there are days where you're just exhausted, and you're even you go to an existential plane as to why am I doing what I'm doing? Will it take me anywhere? It's very natural, right? It's very natural to
Yeah,
go down
yeah.
that path. So my question to you with how do you generally handle those emotions? And I have taken help from psychologists, I've taken help from life coach, and for me mental health is a very big
Mm-hmm.
priority. And it's very wrong to
Mm-hmm.
believe that mental health issue is only a first world problem. No, it can hit anyone.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So yes, and everyone
It
should
can
be
hit
able to
anyone.
seek
So
help.
yeah.
And I'm sure if you discuss with your rheumatologist or anyone for that matter, they will be able to help you. There's so much of unnecessary
Well,
stigma
yeah.
attached. You should just remove that. So on days like that, what do you do?
Yeah.
Have you and you told me, that has it ever reached to a stage where you're like, oh my god, maybe I should think of alternate career options? And how do you deal with those emotions? Tell us. I
Yeah.
really want to know.
Yeah. Yeah. So, mental health for me has not been a stigma. Like, it's been wonderful because my family, there have been people who have their own journeys with mental health. So, knowing that, and my parents are so open if ever I reach a point where I need help, they are open for me to like reach out and get the appropriate help that I need. I have been a pretty strong person mentally before this,
Excellent.
and one of the symptoms of lupus itself is mental issues, like the
Absolutely.
thoughts, the anxiety, the depression, the overthinking, everything that you go through.
And
And
even the
the
medicines you take can trigger it. So yeah.
yeah, exactly, the instability and things like that. I did have like existential crisis. I'm like, ultimately we are going to die one day, then why push
Why so
harder
much of
now?
pain?
Like,
Yeah. Is
yeah,
it
what's
worth
the
it?
purpose of doing this? Is it worth it? Yeah. So luckily, so my coping mechanism through it is obviously been, my parents have been through, like, been with me through everything. My elder sister Akka, if you're watching this, she's in Germany, she's also been with me through everything. My younger sister, who's like,
Yeah.
it's the family is the biggest support. But apart from that, again, they're not there constantly with you in your everyday life.
Obviously,
They're
yeah.
not your peers. So when your peers are there to understand more, like, so there has, like, my mental dump has been one of my friends Vinyas. So like, I know he will watch it because I will share this with him. So
What's
like,
his name? What's his name?
he's Vinyas. So
Okay, hi
he
Vinyas.
so yeah, whenever I've been like that very frustrated, flustered mode, like a series of messages goes, and like, and the ability, like, you have someone who thinks rationally and puts out something from their perspective. And
Beautifully
again,
said.
not, yeah, there are life coaches who you can approach to. You, like, there are people who are wonderful at their jobs, but that added advantage is when your peers are there for you, who give their perspective, being at your own stage, mentally,
Absolutely.
physically, at your own phase of life, is when you'll be able to grasp it more and understand and cope with the days where you feel like shit. So yeah, so
Absolutely, yeah.
that's been like, I think my biggest role is my peers, with like whom I can open up like
Right.
completely, and finding them, and obviously family, and I'm open to approaching life
Yes,
coaches
seeking
or
help.
like
Yeah.
psychiatrists or therapists, yeah, or seeking help, and
You should
everyone
seek help.
should be open to that. Yeah, should
Yes,
be open to
yes.
that. So
To the
yeah,
families
that's
who
it.
are watching this also, I tell them like it's good to seek help. It's very good. You seek help for a
Yeah,
kidney, why don't you seek help for your mind as well? I think that's very
mine,
important.
yeah.
Very important. And I
And
love
like,
going
there's
to
a
my
saying, right?
psychologist's place. I love meeting my life coach,
Yeah.
Val. Val, he's been coaching me for the past 6 years. Just imagine.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
someone like Val, in having Val in my life is like, I feel like anything can be possible, however dark the situation
Mm-hmm.
is. Yeah, so
Mm-hmm.
I think that's
Yeah, it's
beautiful.
like, there's a saying, right? Half the battle is fought in the mind. Like, even
Beautiful.
the biggest thing for me is, even though you are physically affected, like I know this might sound stupid, but there are days where I sit and speak to my joints, I speak to my body, I'm
Yeah,
like, no, no,
yeah.
no, you can do this, get up, you can do this. Like if you are mentally strong or working towards getting better or stronger or fighting this, your body will start coping, your body will
You're
start
right.
adapting to it. And
Intrapersonal
yeah,
communication is so important.
yeah,
Yes, yes.
yeah. So
Beautiful. Thanks for that. Uh, I'm going to ask you a very, for me, I think it's a very delicate question, because, uh, does it worry you that, with lupus, that you may not be able to practice a certain medical field, keeping in mind that you're a doctor, you're going to be a doctor and you will be doing your post graduation, your specialization, all of that. Like, if I have to just show you, my hands have tremors. It moves. My checks bounce once in a while when I sign. So does it worry that surgery may not be something you can do, or infection? I think there's a department just handling infection diseases, right? And you are so open to. I know lupus patients who were like dentists and all, who were asked to not do it because they're prone to catching infections. So how do you handle that? Take your sweet time and tell us about it, because I think it's so important to know, and it's important that people also know the challenges faced by someone like us. Yeah.
So this was one of the first few conversations that I have had when I was diagnosed with my doctor and my parents. Like, and this is a constant thing that will keep happening. Like now, for instance, taking the current example, there is a pandemic going on. Right now, my college is shut. Right now, it is shut. But when it opens, like my parents are so worried.
Yeah.
Do you even have to go back to attend college? Keeping in mind, like the things like starting from like small compromises, like there were days, and the sad part is, since this was not planned, the first 2 years that I experienced in this course, when I started learning new things, approaching new medicines, and having this open spectrum of I can be whatever I want to be right now. No, you need to channelize it towards what suits you the best, in which you can be as efficient and give back to the society. It's been like there were days where I used to so we have these surgery classes in which we have to stand in OTs and see procedures. Like initially I used to love them because I could stand through the complete 2 hours, but like once I've gotten diagnosed, every 1 hour I need to sit down, I need to slow down. So like there were, again, coming back to the compromises that we have to make, the small compromises, it's a big thing. I've had like breakdowns regarding this, as to I want to do something but I'm not able to do it. But again, it's just a phase, right? Like it that doesn't mean that there are no other alternatives. Like you can be as good in like so many other things and give so much more to people in so many other things, rather than just sticking to one way
I have
of
to tell
living.
you, Priyamvada, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I have to tell you how beautifully you have redefined, you have just rewired yourself. You rewired your brain, telling that there is an option. You don't have to go in that particular the rat race that everyone is going. That's beautiful. That so tell me more. Yeah.
And the biggest thing is, it doesn't, like I'm confident that I want to be in this field, so it doesn't mean that you have to quit something that you're doing. You just have to modify your paths to reach your destiny. Instead of climbing, or instead of trekking through a mountain, maybe you have to go through a road for like, which is a longer road, but ultimately you will reach your destiny. And the journey is the place where you learn, you adapt. And again, my parents have been such a big support while saying, you do what you want to do, no matter what, we are there. So it's like, it's not, that's what matters. And knowing the fact that there are alternatives, and I joined this course out of passion and out of the thought that I want to be able to give back to the society and be able to help people. So keeping that in mind, knowing that only by becoming a surgeon is not the way that I can help people. Maybe I can become a rheumatologist myself and empathize and answer
man, yes.
so many other people. Yeah. So it's again, like, there are always alternatives, and you can still do what you want. I mean, you can still do what you love.
Goosebumps.
And this just opens a bigger range of things with which you can, like,
I'm
excel
telling
in.
you, Priyamvada, I'm having goosebumps. Just thinking of the beautiful journey you can have and the kind of service, I feel like probably, like I said, it's probably divine intervention, you're a patient, you can be a rheumatologist. Like you said, the journey might be 3 times slower. You might need to take a break here, you might need to go through that, you might need to do this, but what the hell, man? Like, what matters? There are there are young children with kidney failures, there are young children battling cancer, there's so much of sorrow out there, and if you cannot practice gratitude, your existence is worthless. And the way you're doing it is just beautiful. I mean, I have to tell you, that's beautiful how you said, that you have to explore other options, and that's a very important point, because vocationally speaking, lupus patients need to keep multiple factors in mind. Like in my case, I had to think a lot. Like, it's not easy for me. A computer-based job, software and all is what I've been doing, and that's been helping me. I have tremors, so a lot of things need to be kept in mind, and you can't just let I was supposed to go on a student exchange program to Germany. The moment they got to know I have lupus, they vanished, I'm saying. So at that point, it was a very big deal for me as a child. I wanted to go for it. I'll spend a year in a foreign family, live with them and experience the culture. It was stunning, but it didn't happen. Now, I can't crib about that. I can only look at the good that it has given me, and because of that, I could form the trust. And everything you have to just redefine the way you think, actually.
It's like saying, when there's a storm, look out for a rainbow. So, like, that is how I function.
Very true. That should be the base on which lupus patients or any chronic illness should function. Otherwise, it's impossible to function peacefully. Okay, so we are gonna go to the final segment, finally. That would be, tell me something. What is that one or two or three, but at the least you should tell me is one, okay? What is that one quality in you that has helped you, live a happier life? What is that one quality in you that you think lupus patients, to be very specific, okay? What is it that they can learn from you? Okay, that one quality that can help, that can enhance their quality of life, that can enhance their happiness quotient. Tell me about that. I really want to know. Though I have an answer for that quality in you, but I want to know from you.
I think the biggest quality that I have is do not give up. No matter what, do not give up. So, like, it's okay to go slower, but do not give up. It's not the end. That's the biggest thing that, like, has helped me. And the second thing is gratitude.
Absolutely gratitude.
Like, even before I was diagnosed with lupus, when I started MBBS as a course, when I saw the kind of people that I meet there, the patients who are, like, at a really bad state physically, mentally, and when I come back home and I see that we take very little things in life for granted. Like, us being able to talk this way, people are there on the bed who are not able to breathe or, like, open their mouth to, like, when I saw this even before I was diagnosed, when I stepped into this field, I built that gratitude, and when I got to experience it myself, I'm like, I'm so grateful. I have shelter, I have food, I have the basic things. There are people who don't even have this. So looking at what you have and striving harder to, like, give back to the society and not giving up. Like, these are the two things that has, like, pushed me through this, and like will always keep pushing me. Yeah.
I can totally relate to what you said, because I'm not just talking about my side. There are times my mom or my dad, or like they're like, oh, I really wish my daughter was able to do those things,
Yeah.
and I tell my mom, I also, I think practicing gratitude is something I practice every minute in my life. It's unbelievable
Yeah.
now. After 6 years of battling
Yeah.
lupus, now every day, every minute, I'm like, when I feel have a little back pain, I'm like, oh, I think of that ankylosing spondylitis patient whose back is bent and can't move.
Yeah.
So every second, it's all about, it's not comparison, or it's not just finding. Initially when doctors used to say that, I used to feel like, what nonsense is it? My pain is valid irrespective of what the other person is suffering, which is true.
Yeah.
But somewhere
True.
down the
Yeah.
lane, practicing gratitude is, call it an escapist, call it whatever it is, it works. You have to do it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I think life will be miserable, right?
Yeah, it will.
Okay,
Yeah, it's
now,
like how they say the grass is greener on the other side, but like if you have that attitude, you can never like move forward. So yeah.
Yeah. So the last question, coming to the last question finally. Is there anything you'd like to tell our viewers? Like I said, you will be having patients, their family members, their primary caregivers, their spouses, their children could be watching it, or their parents watching it, or it could just be a random person who somehow found this video out there, or it could just be a friend of a patient who they saw in the other section of school. It could just be very random, at the same time very specific. So what would you like to tell them? Anything that comes to your mind.
Biggest thing, be patient. Like be patient. Like for the caregivers, be patient with your loved ones. For lupis or for people who are suffering themselves, be patient. Like in life, be patient, because I think that's what gets us through the the roller coasters and things like that. So, and always look out for rainbows amidst the storm. Like it's not like, yes, there are days, there are like really shitty days, but like, so there was this one thing that like really pulls me through. Like I came across this on the internet one day when I was scrolling through Instagram, and this has like changed me a lot as a person, or given a lot of perspective.
Right.
So let's read it out. A great king summoned his wise men. He ordered them, create for me a saying that will stabilize my inner state. When I am unhappy, it will bring me joy. And when I am happy, it will remind me of my sadness. It cannot be too long, as I want to keep it with me always. So the wise men consulted and contemplated deeply the king's command. And then finally they returned to the king bearing a small box. In it, there was a ring, and inside the ring was inscribed the following words: "This too shall pass." So, and there are days when you're at your shittiest, but no, this too shall pass. There are days when you are like feeling happy, but know that like live in that moment and be prepared for the worst too, because this too shall pass. So I think this has what like this is what is keeping me like to like move on and go on. And like for all the people out there, be patient and know that this too shall pass. Happiness or sadness, like just be prepared for anything. So that's the only thing. And do not give up. Like as I said, my biggest thing is do not give up. Do not give up on your loved ones. Do not give up fighting.
I feel like when you said this too shall pass, I feel like after battling a disease like this, you become a very neutral person. There is never too much sadness, there is never too much happiness. You're always in between. You're blissful and you're peaceful. That is the state we should all strive to reach. So thank you so much, Priyamvada. Thank you. I should thank Suzanne, because she worked so hard for the lupus walk in Bangalore, and it was lovely. I flew down from Kochi, stayed with her, and that's how I met you. So I think everything happens for so much good.
The support group like that I got in touch with, it's beautiful. Like, it's nice.
So
Like, it's
glad.
wonderful to know that there are so many of them like you who can understand, who are
There
going
was
through
no
a lot
support group,
too.
Priyamvada. I'm telling you, when I was diagnosed, I searched on the internet like a mad person. I was like, in India, and I just didn't find. And today, all I can say is, I want to thank Dr. Padmanabha Shenoy. He's my, I don't know what to say, divine intervention again. He supported patients to interact. He brought in concept of patient forum, patient counseling. He would have organized meetings, patient meetups, Lupus Day celebrations. You know,
and that changes a lot.
So if at all Doctor watches this, all I can say is, Doctor, thank you. You know, because of you, you know, we are now all across India. We lupus patients are one unit now. You know, thousands of us now. We are connected. We have places where they can ask questions, where they can know that they're not alone. They can seek emotional support, everything. So it's lovely. Thank you so much, Priyamvada. Thanks a lot.
And like, you have been so inspiring. Like, you have no clue. Like, I look up to you so much ever since I've like met you and gotten to know your story. And you should come here more often. We should hang out.
I will, of course. We'll do a lot more activities, and if the viewers are watching, tell us which city you're from, and if you're a lupus patient, tell us a city. You know, we'll organize more events in your city. Obviously, post the pandemic, we'll have walkathons, we'll have meetups. We can even do virtual meetups. You know, everything is possible. So unless you reach out to us, we will not be able to know, right? So I think you should encourage everyone to reach out to us. So thanks a lot. See you soon. We will do our next segment on lupus and nutrition, okay? Because I think we have lots to talk about it. All right. See you then. Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.